I was 19 the day my entire life began to unravel. Just a quiet confession that felt like someone had pulled the ground out from under me. Emma, my father said softly, you're adopted. I remember the way his hands trembled as he spoke, the way his eyes refused to meet mine. The words he said split something in me open that could never be closed again. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I whispered, what do you mean, adopted? Where's Mom? My voice was shaking. She's upstairs. We wanted to tell you together, but she's been unwell this morning. That was a lie. I could hear her footsteps pacing above us. I stood up, my chair scraping across the floor, and said, you just decided to play house with me? Emma, please, he said. I snapped and shouted, Don't you dare tell me to calm down. I turned and stormed out of the house. When I stopped, I was standing by the lake. The same lake where my father taught me to skip stones, where my mother used to take pictures of me every summer in the same blue dress. The wind was cold, the water glittering like shattered glass under the sun. And for the first time in my life, I felt hollow. If I wasn't really their daughter, then who was I? For days after that, the house felt different. Every photo frame seemed to mock me. Every family memory I'd held so dearly suddenly felt fake, like someone had rewritten my entire life story and forgotten to tell me. Mom tried to talk to me. She knocked on my door, left notes on my bed, even cooked my favorite meals, but I couldn't bring myself to face her. It wasn't until a week later that I finally confronted them again. We were in the living room. The television was on, but no one was watching. My father's hands were clasped tightly together. My mother's eyes were red from crying. I asked, why didn't you tell me sooner? My father nodded as if giving her permission. You were abandoned, Emma, left at a hospital when you were just a baby. No one came for you. We adopted you when you were 6 months old, she answered. It sounded too neat, too rehearsed. I wanted to believe her, but something in her voice, something in the way she couldn't look at me, it didn't add up. A few nights later, I found my father in his study. He was staring at an old photo album, the one he used to keep locked in his drawer. When he saw me, he quickly shut it. What's that? I asked. He hesitated for a long time, then finally sighed. He opened the drawer again and handed me the photo album. Inside were pictures I'd never seen before. Not of me, of someone else. A little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old. She looked like me. Same eyes, same hair, same small scar above the eyebrow. But it wasn't me. Dad, I said, voice trembling. Who is this girl? She died, he said softly. My breath caught. What does that have to do with me? He looked away. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours, replaying everything he'd said. Why did she look exactly like me? And why did my father say she died? By morning, I knew I couldn't just sit and wait for answers. I needed to find out for myself. I started with the adoption papers. My parents kept them in a metal box in the closet, along with birth certificates, insurance forms, and other old documents. It took me hours to find it. The document was dated 1999, but the ink looked faded, like it had been photocopied too many times. And the signature at the bottom, it didn't match my father's handwriting. Under place of adoption, it listed a hospital I'd never heard of, St. Mary's Children's Ward, Cincinnati. But we lived in Oregon, thousands of miles away. I took a photo of the paper and sent it to my best friend, Daniel. Within an hour, he called me back. Emma, he said cautiously, that hospital doesn't exist anymore. It burned down in 2002. There's no record of any adoption handled under that name. It looks like those papers were forged. I don't remember much after that, just fragments. My heart racing, my fingers shaking, the sound of my own breathing. When I confronted my father again, he didn't deny it. He just said, it's more complicated than you think. I left home that night, packed a bag, got in my car, and drove until the road turned into silence. For 3 days, I stayed with Daniel, searching for answers online. I called every agency I could think of, every record office, every hospital within 100 miles of Cincinnati. And then I found it, a missing persons database. There was an old photo of a toddler with familiar eyes and a birthmark shaped like a crescent moon under her chin. Name, Lily Patterson. Missing since April 7th, 2003. Location, Portland, Oregon. My hands went numb. It couldn't be real. The way she smiled, the way her head tilted slightly to the left, it was me. It was my face. I called the number listed on the report. A woman answered. Her voice was cautious, the kind of voice that had been waiting for years without hope. Mrs. Patterson? I whispered. I think I might be your daughter. Then I heard it. Oh my God, she whispered. Meeting her in person, when she opened the door, I froze. Because it was like staring into a future version of myself. The same black hair, the same eyes. She didn't say anything at first. She just reached out, touched my face gently, and whispered, Lily? I didn't even try to correct her. I just fell into her arms and cried. Over the next few hours, she told me everything. How I'd been taken from their backyard one afternoon. How she'd looked away for less than a minute, just long enough to grab lemonade from the porch. How by the time she turned around, I was gone. They searched for years. My face had been on posters, news reports, milk cartons. She said my father, my real father, had died 2 years after I disappeared. A heart attack. The grief killed him, she said. I listened in silence, my chest tightening with every word. I wanted to believe it was all a mistake, that maybe there was some other explanation. But deep down, I already knew. The pieces fit too perfectly. The photo album, the forged papers, the girl named Lily, and my father, or the man I thought was my father, had known all along. It took everything in me to go back home that night. When I walked into the living room, he was waiting, sitting in his chair, the TV flickering in the background. He didn't look surprised to see me. I know, I said quietly. He nodded, his eyes glistening. I figured you would. I sat across from him. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, I whispered, "Why?" He sighed deeply, his shoulders slumping. "Because she was going to take you away." I frowned. "Who?" "Your real mother," he said. "She was my sister, Sarah Patterson. My older sister. She had you when she was 20, but she wasn't ready to be a mother. She was unstable, in and out of rehab, always with the wrong people. I tried to help her, but she wouldn't listen." "That doesn't make sense. She said I was taken from the backyard." He snapped suddenly. "She always lied." "Dad," I whispered, "did you take me?" His hands began to tremble. "I saved you, Emma. You were being neglected, hungry, dirty, sick half the time. So you kidnapped me?" He looked away. "I rescued you." For the first time, I saw him not as my father, but as a man who had built a lie so carefully that even he had started to believe it. "You let her think I was dead. You let her grieve for 20 years. Tears filled his eyes. "You're my daughter," he whispered. "I raised you. I loved you. Every birthday, I was there. That has to count for something." "It does," I said. "But love built on a lie isn't love, Dad. It's control." He broke then, sobbing, shaking, whispering my name over and over like a prayer. I wanted to hate him, but all I felt was sorrow. It took months for the truth to come out fully. DNA tests confirmed what we already knew. News stories surfaced, investigations reopened. He was arrested quietly. No handcuffs, no shouting, just a tired man walking into the back of a police car, eyes fixed on the ground. I visited him once before the trial. He looked older. He said softly, "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want you to know I'd do it all again, because losing you would have killed me." I swallowed hard and responded, "You already lost me." After that, I moved in with my biological mother for a while. It was strange at first, sleeping in a room filled with photos of a child who looked like me, but wasn't quite me. We tried to rebuild something, a relationship. She showed me the garden she'd planted every year since I vanished. Said it was her way of keeping hope alive. One afternoon, I found her sitting there, holding one of my childhood toys, a stuffed bear, faded and worn. She looked up and smiled through tears. She said, "I used to dream you'd walk through that gate one day, and now you have." I sat beside her, took her hand, and for the first time, I felt something like peace. It's been 3 years now. I changed my name back to Lily, though sometimes when people call me that, it still feels like they're talking to someone else. I visit my adoptive mother once a month. She never talks about what happened. She just makes tea and asks if I'm sleeping well. I know she misses him, the man she loved, the man who stole me, but she carries it quietly. And me? I'm still learning who I am. Some days I feel like Emma. Some days I feel like Lily. Most days, I feel like both. A person made from 2 broken stories that somehow found their way to the same page. People always ask if I've forgiven him. I don't know if forgiveness is the right word, but I've stopped hating him because hate keeps you tied to the past. And I've already spent enough years living in someone else's lie. Last week, I went back to the lake where it all began, the place where I first heard the truth. The air was cold, the water calm. I stood there for a long time, watching the reflection of the sky ripple across the surface. In my hand was a small locket my father gave me when I was 10. Inside was a photo, me on one side, him on the other. I kissed it once, whispered goodbye, and threw it into the lake. As it sank beneath the water, I felt the weight of everything. The lies, the pain, the love, drift away with it. For the first time in my life, I wasn't running from who I was. I was walking towards it,